As soon as I saw Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, just jump through that portal and save Gwen, I was completely absorbed in his character. I haven't seen anybody this cool, this far in any movie that I've ever watched. When Miguel O'Hara just jumped in through the time portal, I was like, this is an alpha male coming through. This is the high value male that I want to be. And as I further watched the movie and I further observed Miguel O'Hara, I was completely absorbed into his character. He is by far the coolest character in the new movie. And when I went home, I was like, how the fuck do I emulate this guy? How do I become this guy? He's so alpha, he's so outrageously cool, web slinging, superhero, vampire, scientist, whatever you want to call it. This guy is off the rocks, and I needed to know how I would become someone like him. The first step was discovering my mission. Have a mission. This is not just exclusive to Miguel O'Hara or Spider-Man 2099. Every Spider-Man, every superhero, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, every superhero has a mission to keep his duties above his own needs. This is beyond anything I or you can even want. This is to keep the things that you want below the things that you must do. To have a mission that is larger than life and larger than ourselves. The whole point of a superhero is to keep hedonic pleasures like money and power below the right thing to do. You need something to believe in. Most people, it's religion. You know, half the world, more than half the world has a religion, and they keep that above power and money, but it does not have to be exclusive to religion. Keep something above these hedonistic pleasure, and that's one step closer to being like Spider-Man 2099. Second, invest heavily into a skill. Miguel O'Hara is a scientist. Peter Parker is a physicist. They study at MIT or whatever university they go to in New York, and they're top of the class graduates. They're mastering in a skill that is monumental for the world, that will change the world forever. So keep a skill in mind that you want to focus on, grind on, and pursue it like I talk about being obsessed in my other videos. Be obsessed with this mission. 24/7 grind, non-stop, like David Goggins says. Miles after miles. Put in the Miles Morales, miles after miles into your mission and into your skill set. The third thing I noticed about Miguel O'Hara was he's very cold and calculated, very stoic, very psychopathic. And I'm not saying to become sociopathic or psychopathic, but there's a thin line to walk when you're being stoic and psychopathic. Complete control over your emotions. Miguel knows that if Miles saves his dad, the universe can end. He's keeping the universe about Miles and his dad's feelings and Miles's feelings and his dad's life. The next thing is organize a gang, like the Spider-Verse. Organize a group of friends that will keep the mission above their hedonic pleasures. Get together with a group of friends that you find somewhere that is not about money, that is not about power, but something bigger than you. For me, it's spreading positivity and motivation for people like you and people who come across this video. I want to cultivate a following like Hamza and other self-motivation YouTubers and help them grow, teach life lessons, and overcome struggles that I'm facing myself. So I'm going to put myself out there to explain all my struggles, all my failures, and I'm going to hope that you guys learn from it and you guys grow. Now, I talk about emotional control. I get rage when the internet doesn't load like this, when the JavaScript just doesn't load like this. I have this rage building inside my head, like what the fuck is going on? This stupid internet in this stupid country, the fucking laptop is not working. This is a sign of poor mental and emotional control. Spider-Man 2099, he lives in the future, he has to face future enemies. He cannot let these small inconveniences just tilt him off the rocks. Keep internal focus. Focus your emotions. Be like Spider-Man. Focus your emotions for the mission. I keep coming back to the mission because the mission is above everything I teach and preach here. And it's about everything for Spider-Man, Superman, any superhero you want to name. The next thing that I believe Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 29, invests in is protecting his time. The whole movie is based around time and the universe, so I'm guessing Miguel O'Hara goes in for the jobs that require critical need of help. He has a team of Spider-Men that will go for the menial jobs, but we gotta prioritize the big ones, the main ones. There's nothing bad about starting small. If you were one of the Spider-Men in the Spider-Verse and you were tasked with a small job, then you will keep that as your highest priority because you know that's the only thing you can do. I'm sure you can do more than that, but if you prioritize the mission given to you by a superior, no matter how much you disagree with them or don't align with their morals, keeping the mission above the needs of oneself and others is the key. Focus on maintaining your time and prioritizing your time for the missions that are critical for you. Again, we are coming back to emotional control because being a superhero like Spider-Man 2099 requires you to be completely stoic, completely under control of your emotions. One of the biggest and most important emotion for all of mankind is happiness. Any guy who comes across this video, any guy walking on the street, any dog walking on the street, any bird, they all want one thing. They want to be happy. What makes us happy is critical for us to find. Do not outsource your happiness. Always be happy from inside. No matter what villain comes across the Timeverse, no matter what villain Spider-Man 2099 faces, he maintains his happiness from within. No matter how bad of a situation he is in, as Miles and Spider-Man puts it, Spider-Man always gets up and Spider-Man always wins because he has control over his happiness and most importantly, his emotions. Spider-Man is obsessed with fighting crime and doing the right thing. Again, we go back to the mission. We always go back to the mission. On this channel, the mission is about everything else. We go back to the mission, we go back to the drawing board. Any and all distractions, like my previous video where I discussed being distracted and how not to be distracted, any and all distractions should not come in between saving the world, saving the Spider-Verse, saving your marriage, saving your relationship, studying for an exam. No distraction should come in. Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, is a master of ignoring distractions and focusing on the grind. Keep the grind set in mind and keep the mission in mind. I read somewhere that Miguel O'Hara was the first Spider-Man that was not Peter Parker. This is very monumental for Miguel O'Hara. If I was in his shoe, I would feel more special than I already feel because I'm Spider-Man. Not only am I not Peter Parker, but I'm someone of color and someone who's different from Peter Parker, but in the same shoes. This makes me feel special because up until this point, only one person was chosen to save the world and be Spider-Man. But now I'm Spider-Man, and then he meets Miles. Think about his ego. Think about being Spider-Man and you meet another Spider-Man. I mean, it's really cool and all, but when you know that you're the only Spider-Man and you meet another Spider-Man, your ego takes a hit. You understand that, oh fuck, there's someone else like me, someone else cooler than me, someone else better than me. This takes a hit, but Miguel O'Hara stays focused on the grind. He does not let his ego come in. No matter how much he hates Miles for being the anomaly, he understands that he's still Spider-Man. And as we see in the third movie, Miguel, I bet you can come back to this video and leave a comment. I bet you that Miguel O'Hara is going to turn from an anti-hero to the superhero of the movie. He's going to come in and swing in and save Miles and save the universe. I'm 1,000,000,000% sure that Miguel O'Hara keeps a journal. I'm sure the Spider-Man keeps a journal, but Miguel O'Hara has to keep a journal. Every high-value male has to keep a journal to write down his thoughts, write down his ideas. I keep a journal, as I've discussed in my previous videos, where I was too afraid to share my ideas because I thought everybody would get ahead of me. But now that I've realized that more information is not the answer, I cannot tell you anything groundbreaking that's going to change your life. I understand that, therefore I'm willing to share it and help others. I now think that even if I did tell you something groundbreaking that would change your life, I want it to change your life. I want you to improve. After watching superhero movies, after watching Spider-Man, I want to do the right thing, not be selfish and keep my thoughts and ideas to myself. If my idea is able to change at least one person who comes across this video, I've done my job and I am successful. Stand your ground. Miguel O'Hara stands his ground. When Miles says he has to save his dad, Miguel O'Hara knows what's at stake. The entire Spider-Verse and the entire space-time continuum is at risk. Stand your ground no matter how many people disagree with you. No matter if your family disagrees with you, if your friends disagrees with you. This is important because your family and your friends are going to disagree with you at some point. So you got to know what you're fighting for is the right thing. Make sure you do your research. Write down paragraphs after paragraphs in your journals to come to the conclusion that what you stand for is the right thing for the world, for your family, for your friends, and most importantly for yourself. Stand your ground no matter what is at stake. Now I'm sure this is not just exclusive to Spider-Man 2099 or any other Spider-Man. Every superhero, every high value male, every high value female has to imagine the worst possible outcome. Your life is not smooth sailing. There will come a time where you will face your toughest battle. You will hit rock bottom and you will face the worst conditions you have ever faced in your life. To prepare for these circumstances, not only Spider-Man 2099, but every superhero, every high value male always thinks of the worst possible outcome. Now, this doesn't mean you should be negative about your thinking and always think about the worst possible outcome, but you should always have this inkling in the back of your mind that fuck, something can go wrong. And if that happens, what do we do? And finally, the last statement to close it off. Spider-Man knows this, I know this, and I hope you know this. Nothing stands the slow marching of time. No matter what you do, no matter what I do, no matter what I tell you, no matter what Spider-Man 2099 does, it will not matter in the grand scheme of things. So think about that for a little bit. Think about what you want to do now. You know, we're this tiny speck of RNA, DNA in the grand scheme of the universe. We're so insignificant. Our emotions, our actions, they don't really matter only to us. They only matter to us and our family, our friends, and the people who we touch. So think about that for a second and think about what kind of legacy you want to leave. And I hope Miguel O'Hara thinks about that too. And we're going to see that in the next Spider-Man movie. I'm rooting for Miguel O'Hara. I know he's going to be the good guy. I know he's going to understand Miles' point of view. And I know he's going to save the universe with Miles. I enjoyed watching the movie and I'm going to make a review about it. But that's how you be like Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099. Until next time.